Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to Travel Buddies. So far in the series, we've taken you to some of the most breathtaking and scenic places in the UK, but we have not explored just how interesting and sometimes exciting some of our great cities can be. So today, I'm in London. Now, if you live in London, you've probably driven past some of the things that more than 17 million people from all over the world come here to see. The question is, why shouldn't you enjoy them too? Today, I'm in a little known place called Canning Town to take a ride on something that you'd only expect to see in the Swiss Alps. Now, I know you must be wondering what I'm talking about, so join me now and let's go and find out.
This episode, I'm in Devon. This is the area in the south coast of the UK that's known internationally for its dairy products. As well as that, who could forget the British Riviera, 22 miles of coast. SubhanAllah, amazing place to bring all the family. And as well as that, if you didn't know, 8 million people have visited Devon on average every year. That's more than Hawaii in 2012. And there's plenty of reasons why they're coming. Let's go find out.
So I told you I was going to take you to somewhere very interesting, right? I'm in a place called Royal Victoria Dock. That's the station behind me. Along this road here, we have the Excel Centre, and there's hotels on either side. Parking, if you don't want to get the train here, £3 an hour or £15 a day. Very nice. You can actually start your day at 7 a.m. here as well, which is really interesting. But why have I come to this location? Well, have a look at that.
Right, you can book this cable car trip online, or you can just turn up with your Oyster card or most other payment methods. And what does it cost? Well, for adults, it's £7 return and just £3.40 return for kids. Remember, it's the UK's only urban cable car, so the kids will have something to brag about for weeks to their school friends. But look out for offers. There are many combinations you can book with other popular places in London, which makes this cable trip much more cost effective too.
So this service, as I said, which runs 90 metres above the ground, it goes from the Royal Victoria Dock to the Greenwich Peninsula. Now the views are spectacular. Make sure you do not forget your camera when you come here, because this is something that you probably won't do on a daily basis. So it's an amazing experience. So a little bit more about this cable car. It was first announced in 2010 with an estimated cost of £60 million. And as I mentioned, it's a 1 kilometre long gondola line. So yes, it feels a little bit, at times you get a bit of a bounce, a bit of a wobble, but I think it's all part of the experience. And if you take a look at some of these views here, I think that you will not regret coming on something like this. Below me, we've got the Thames, there are boats below. It's very high, and it's quite amazing, I must say. So this is just an example of what you can do in London. So what you can do, take a look at some of these fantastic views, and I'll see you on the other side.
As the size of ships increased, they needed power.
Well, that was quite enjoyable actually. We're on the other side now, which is the Emirates Greenwich Peninsula. Another very interesting location, as you will find out right now. Follow me and let's have a look.
When you come to Devon, you come for the tea and cream, as well as those scones with the cream and jam on top. And that's what brings us here, to Heel Corn Mill. This is a beautiful place, as well as that it's got a tea room. So we're going to be having some of that, but first, let's go into this mill. It was built in the 1500s and find out what exactly is happening here. Here we are actually inside the mill. Now there used to be tens of thousands of these actual mills back in the day, but post-industrial revolution there's only a handful of them. This is a working mill. It's open for you to visit and see how it works. Now Dave and Kathy are the ones who run this place, and it's a very authentic experience and part of Devon. And when I was talking to Dave, he was explaining everything about it. And we go into the supermarkets, we buy our bread, we try and get fed and get the nutrients. But what Dave was explaining is that the way that it's made today, everything's full of chemicals. And you actually see the list of all the chemicals that they're putting in your bread these days. But here in the mill, it's all done naturally. Even have a look here. You know, they got great demonstrations for kids to come down and actually experience what it's like to grind that grain itself. And I've learned something new today myself. You know, we put the grain in here, okay? Just get it in. You actually start, you know, grinding it out yourself. There you go. Properly get involved. And there you have some natural flour. And what I learned today is that the white flour, brown flour, and bran all comes from the exact same grain. Now you can separate it and take what you want from it, but who knew that it just all works so perfectly? Everything is there. Instead of going to the, you know, the supermarket and getting everything with bleach and this. No, this is the real deal, the real experience. You can bring the children down, they can get hands-on and experience it. There's treasure hunts around here, something practical for the children to experience. And what a great authentic experience of Devon this is. But for a more authentic experience, I think it's time to try some of that clotted cream. So I'm going to head over to the tea room. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Fine. Welcome to our mill.
Thank you. So this is the award-winning tea room.
On a good day, yes.
And my, it smells scrum-diddly-umptious in here.
Well, we make a number of our cakes from our flour over in the mill. And we do obviously a good Devon cream tea, and especially with Devonshire splits, which are a very local thing to Devon.
Well, it all looks lovely.
Would you like to try?
I thought you'd never ask.
Come on then, let's get you underway.
So tell me, there's a lot of history and heritage, and I think a lot of pride in this cream and the scones and how it should work. Now, I hear there's a bit of a fiasco about what should be on what order. So does the cream go first?
This is a serious matter. This is no fiasco. In Devon, it is cream first with jam on top.
Just like I would have my toast at home.
We like to think so. I believe in Cornwall, they are so proud of their Devon clotted cream, their Cornish clotted cream, that they put the jam on first and their cream sitting on the top.
Now, would you believe?
But that's just rumour.
Would you believe? On the way over here, I read that one of the university lecturers done some research into the proportion, the ratio of how this should be eaten. So I've read that it should be a 2 to 1 to 1. So 2 of the scone, 1 of the jam, and 1 of the cream. Does that sound about right?
It sounds pretty good to me.
Very good.
For me, it's however gets as much on your piece of scone as possible.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, so slice in half, separate the 2, and then you get 2.
I think it should get going. I think it should. Oh, it's still warm.
Of course it is.
So freshly baked every morning.
Every morning. Well, let's see the look on your face when you take your first.
Oh, my mouth is salivating already. So here's this big moment.
Here we go.
The moment of truth.
They are crunchy on the outside, soft on the end.
That is amazing. I know I shouldn't talk with my mouth full. That's the real deal. What better reason to come to Devon to experience the authentic taste of clotted cream? Let me chew a bit more on the scone with jam. And don't forget the tea. Here we are, lovely jubbly. Thank you very much, David. It's been a pleasure. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this.
Well, I must say, I really enjoyed that cable car experience. But now I've come here to the O2 Arena. The O2 Arena is a multi-purpose complex which is in the center of the O2 entertainment area. Now, interestingly enough, as you know, this place used to be called the Millennium Dome, which was built at the Millennium. And obviously there were so many things happening at that time. It was one of the key landmarks in London, and it still is to this day. What can you do here? Well, first of all, look at this square. It's a very interesting square, and we have restaurants on the outside, we've got coffee shops, and it's right next to North Greenwich Station, so it's quite easy to get to as well. Well, you might be able to see, you can actually do a 90-minute trek across the top of the O2 Arena. Yes, I meant what I said. A 90-minute trek, you're going to be 52 meters high, and you'll be going for a distance of 380 meters across the top. Now, you'll be 2 meters above the actual tip of the tent, which I can imagine is going to be quite exhilarating, because they have it mimicking the movement of the tent as well. So it'll be actually bouncing up and down. Now, there is also a lot of things happening on the inside, which I'd like you to take a look at with me. So let's go and see. Well, I must say, for my first time coming to a place like this, I'm actually quite impressed. For families, there is so much to do here. It's perfect. You have a bowling alley just behind me here. There are so many different types of restaurants to eat. And what's ideal is that we're under this cover, which means you can come here all year round. It's just down the road from the station as well, North Greenwich on the Jubilee line. So it's very easy to get to. I mentioned the restaurants, places like this where you can eat halal duck, lamb, chicken, and I understand it's very delicious as well.
You know something? I don't really need to say too much about the halal eateries in London because they're everywhere and you can find reviews and details on them all over the web. There's a reason why some people call this place Londonistan. There are absolutely loads of things for Muslims to eat and do. Now let's not forget we have to pray. But again, this is Londonistan and there are mosques all over the place. From the busiest mosque in Europe, East London Mosque, to so many others all around.
So I'm here at the Greenwich Islamic Centre, which is not too far away from where we've been based today. And we're going to go and pray Jummah. We can come out afterwards and hopefully we can see some more of the wonderful sights.
One of the main reasons I've come to Devon is to visit the coastal village, Invercoombe. First up, let's go down to the harbour and jump to the Invercoombe Princess. All aboard!
We're coasting around the east coast of Devon. This is a phenomenal area. Beautiful walks up and down a castle. We've just come to Watermouth, which is an amazing place with a castle in the background. This is a pre-19th century castle. And the amazing thing is it's been turned into a children's play area. So you can take your children down, they can experience a real castle with fun and games inside. What an amazing experience it would be to come out for a day of fishing. Down in this area, it can cost you just £30 for half a day, £50 for the whole day per person, or if you want, get a group together, come down, £3.50 for the whole day. You can rent a boat out, go out and catch some nice big bass, some beautiful sea fish, take it home, cook it up. What an experience to catch your own food and eat it. Okay, so here we are, one of these amazing coves. And like I said, the tide is in at the moment, but once it comes out, they say the beach is like 15 times larger. Come here, have a barbecue, and you can even reach it from different areas so you can walk around, sit down with the family. Like I said, barbecue, picnic, maybe go get the kids with the little nets, try and catch some small fish or crabs, and really learn about the sea, learn what it has to offer. So much to see here, so much. Excuse the pun. One of the great things about these boat trips is there's different types available. So we're on the 1 hour sea safari right now, but there's also 2 hours and longer. And what's really good about them is the skippers, the captain on board. They've got a real depth of knowledge about this coastline. You know, they know the history, the heritage, what these coasts were used for. For example, it used to be very common that the coal ships would come in from Wales and bring the coal in, and you know they'd come right up into the cove areas. The tide would go out, and all the donkey carts would come in, collect the coal, and take it out. So there's a richness of information and wealth that we can learn about our history here in the UK and that of the natives. And in old pirate traditions, they even have old shipwrecks, and it's only these skippers that know exactly where to find them, and they know the true stories behind how they became a shipwreck. So lots of exploration, bit of role playing with the pirates and the sailors, with the children to get involved. So get down here and experience the wealth of experience they have to offer. Right, Skipper, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Very informative.
Thank you
really
very much.
enjoyed it.
Good.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next
Take care.
time.
Thank you. Well, what an experience that was. Oh, really enjoyed that. Beautiful day, bit of choppy sea, but really enjoyed the experience, even the ups and downs. But now I think we've earned a well-deserved local fish and chips, nice and freshly caught. So let's go find out how tasty it is. Love my tartar sauce, can't wait. There you have it, brothers and sisters, some nice freshly caught fish and chips, perfect for coastal visiting. Now off next, we're off to see some children's activities, so I need to get my energy level up. Let's see what we have coming up.
Who would have thought that Devon had so much to offer? From its spectacular landscape to the cultural debate of scones and clotted cream. That's enough from me for now. Let's jump over to Jamaal to see what used to be the capital of the world.
So we've just come from the O2 Arena, and this is one of the most important places I think you'll need to come to if you want to have an understanding of London and also the Meridian. This is the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, and it was built on the ruins of Greenwich Castle. As you can see here, it's set on a hill in Greenwich Park. It overlooks the Thames, it overlooks the Royal Naval College here. You can see the O2 and also the East London skyline. It's a magnificent sight. To the left we have the Cutty Sark, which is a historic vessel, and that's also steeped in history, and that's just over here. So as I said before, this overlooks the Thames, and you can see even behind me there's a park area here, so for families it's ideal. There's a tree here, there are trees here that I've never even seen before, and there's a cafe just along here which is set in a very picturesque garden. But what's quite interesting as well is the first 24-hour clock I've ever seen. I think the first one existent is just over here, so come and have a look with me now and let's see. You can probably see it already. This clock was actually built, it was set in 1852, and it's the first 24-hour clock. So as I said, this is something that you probably haven't ever seen before, and I think it's quite a talking piece, conversation piece for the families. Also, what's quite important here as well, we have the benchmark here, which is this location is exactly 154.7 feet above sea level. So you can understand the significance of this location. It's just not just about setting time, it's about setting the place. We even have these standards for measurement as well. So, you know, this is a place where, steeped in history, many people would have just been here to understand exactly what the markers were that sets a standard in this location. Behind me, as I mentioned before, you have walks, so you can actually take your families for the whole entire day here. And I think that at the end of the day at this location, you will feel more enriched, and you know, I think you'd want to come here again. So now we're going to move on to our next location and see what else we have to see. You know what, this is one of those places that you can spend an entire day on, just enjoying the sights, enjoying the scenes. But you know, it's not even just about the observatory, there's also science here. This is the planetarium, and it's actually the place which played a major role in the history of astronomy. So to have a better understanding of, you know, the actual universe, this is a place to come. So obviously we know that Greenwich is the center of time, but also for UK astronomy, this is one of the places which plays a massive, significant role. So also for your families, for your children, to give them a better understanding of the universe, the creation of Allah, this is a place they can come to, and it can help them to reflect on it as well. Here is a place which, when you think about it, this location, the planetarium, just down here we have the observatory, we have the parks over here, we have the whole space and the whole view. You can definitely spend an entire day here. Without doubt, this is an amazing place to come to.
In Devon there are loads of places to stay, but why not choose an award-winning place? This is Heel Beach, Heel Cove, and behind me above you see a finalist for some of the best places to stay in Devon. Heel Beach is a beautiful cove. People have been coming here for years and years and years, and it's somewhere nice for the family to come down. You've got hot tubs, you can come down, have a barbecue, somewhere nice to stay and take in that beautiful sea air. So find out what else it has to offer, inshallah. But for now, I'm gonna go and skip some stones in the sea. When we bring the family to Devon, there's so much for them to explore and see, but for the children it can get a bit tiresome, maybe even a bit bored. But that's why we've come to this place today. This is a wildlife and dinosaur park, something amazing for all the kids. And what makes this one really spectacular is that it's all about the up close and personal encounters. And here we have Amber. This is Amber the corn snake. Beautiful, beautiful color, amazing. And this is all part of the animal antics, where the kids get to come down, hold the snake. Obviously snakes are cold-blooded, so she's a bit cold at the moment. Don't think she's going to heat up much. But look at that. Imagine the experience a child would take away. Holding a snake, playing with it, giving this beautiful interest in animals. Look at that. This is a memory you won't leave behind. Right, so here we are. This is the Dino Express. We're going to be taking a little journey through this wildlife and dinosaur park to find out what's hidden in the midst of the realms of this big, big jungle. So let's find out what's in store for us. Hold on tight. Steam chain ahead. Choo-choo! Woo! And we're off. There are many ways to travel around the wildlife park, but this is one of my favorites. Nice and relaxed. We got peacocks all around the place. Some wallabies down there. Oh, a white wallaby. Never seen that before. Look. Wallabies, actually, they look like dwarf kangaroos, I think, don't they? Okay, so here we are. We're going into the tunnel of the Dino Express. You know, such a beautiful day like today. You can walk for those who miss to walk. You can go on a train for those who miss to go on a train. But remember, if you're going on the train, you'll be needing one of these. Why? You'll have to wait for the surprise at the end. If your little boys or your children are anything like I was when I was a little child, then these prehistoric animals, the dinosaurs, are going to captivate their minds. And from this one train journey to another train journey, join us for the next part of the show, which is going to be even more exciting. See you then. And here it is, the amazing steam train. Just joking. Let's go find it.
Well, you may have noticed at the top of a hill that we saw the sails of a ship, and this is it here, which is the Cutty Sark. It's the last complete clipper from the British fleet. It used to travel to China and back in the 19th century to collect tea. What happened after that is, from the opening of the Suez Canal, it meant that ships could take a shorter journey, which meant it made it obsolete. We're going to take a little trip now, so staying on the theme of ships, one thing I haven't mentioned to you before, and that is that there are so many different ways that you can travel through London, but there's no better way, I think, than to go through the heart of London along the oldest method of transport along the Thames, which is a clipper. So let's take a look now. Join me. Here we go. This is going to be interesting. Well, here we are on the Thames Clipper. The Thames Clipper is a riverboat service that operates up and down the Thames, and I reckon it's one of the best ways to travel. As you know, London is one of the busiest cities in the world, and there are just heaps and heaps of traffic jams all over. And the underground, well, although it might be one of the best in the world, it still gets really, really busy, and it's manic during rush hour. But here on this Clipper service, for £6.50, you can travel all the way up the Thames, and I think it's an amazing journey. Not only do you get to see the sights like Tower Bridge behind me, but we have the Tower of London across here, but you also, even the people are quite friendly as well, because it's a conversational piece. Everyone's got their cameras out, they have the buzz and the thrill of being on this boat service. You know, when it's at its full speed, it's really exhilarating. You've got all the wake, the rush of the water coming out the back, and even the kids that are here, they get really excited about this. And look at the views. We just went past the Square Mile, Canary Wharf. We've got the city across here. I forgot what that one's called now. On this side here, look at this. We've got this old warboat behind us here as well. I don't even know what that one's called, but that's quite interesting. We'll find out about that a bit later on. But I'd say, all in all, pound for pound, this is one of the ways that you really do need to travel. We are in one of the best places, the best opportunities that we can see London, from the newest built buildings to some of the oldest antiquated buildings, and we cut right through the middle of it. This is one of the most interesting journeys that you can take, so make sure you try it out, the Thames Clipper. Obviously, we haven't had a chance to show you that much of London because it's such a massive, vast city, but hopefully we'll get a chance to come back again and see some other parts of London. But we haven't finished today. There is another place that I'd like to show you, which I know you will really enjoy. And we are just coming up to the very location. So let's disembark from this journey on this boat, and then let's see what I have in mind for you now.
Passengers will exit at the front of the boat.
And this is the real Cliff Railway, the real deal. Right here, and I've got my friend Ashley, who's going to tell me a little bit more all about this place. How you doing, Ashley?
Hello there.
You all right?
I'm good, yeah.
So this is unique, isn't it?
Very unique, yeah.
How long has this been around?
126 years.
126 years. So what makes this one so unique?
It works entirely on water balance.
I was just about to ask, I just saw water spilling out of the edges and I thought, is it wet against the side? So how does that work? Just water?
It's counterbalance. We use the water as weight. The heavy car coming down pulls the light car up to the top.
So it's quite economical, isn't it?
Very.
Very nice. So how many people are going up and down in a day?
When in August, we can carry up to about 2,500 people a day.
Oh, I mean, you've got a big queue of people there right now, so a lot of tourists.
A lot, about nearly 400,000 people a year.
Really? So what we want to do is we want to invite our viewers at home to come out and experience this. What's so enticing about this particular automobile?
Just the area, it's absolutely fantastic, and obviously the railway in itself, totally environmentally friendly, hasn't used any power for 126 years, and like I say, we only use water.
Well, I'll tell you what we really want to see is the view it has to offer. So if it's all right with you, we'll pop up and have a little breathtaking peer out to the sea.
Certainly is okay.
Yeah? Excellent, let's go. So what was it set out to do originally? Is it meant to be a tourist attraction?
It was set out as two things really. Tourism was starting to pick up in the Victorian times, and obviously they were building Linton at the top. Everything used to come into Plymouth Harbour by packet ship, and then it was dragged up the steep hill, the one in 4 to Linton, by donkeys on carts.
Yeah.
And there was a guy called Sir George News who used to come on holiday here, and he hated to see the animals whipped and thrashed to drag the goods to Linton.
Okay.
So he was the main financier of the Linton Limerick Cliff Railway.
Okay, so this all started out from one guy's big heart and wanted to be kind to the animals.
Exactly, yeah.
And now we have thousands of people every year coming on board.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you for this journey.
You're welcome.
It's been very, very pleasant. And of course, we had a beautiful view at the end.
So we've just got enough to Clipper. It's getting quite dark now and Maghrib's coming in. But I think it's a perfect time to visit a place like the London Eye. The London Eye, which was built in 1999, was formerly known as the Millennium Wheel. And it was another one of those UK innovations that created a buzz. And even to this day, we have more than 3.75 million people visiting this attraction. Now, it's nowhere near as scary, if you like, as the cable car that we visited earlier on. The journey takes about 40 minutes, but from the top of this wheel, you can see every single iconic place in London. So for that reason, you need to make sure that you visit this wheel and make sure you have your camera with you as well. And this particular Ferris wheel is actually the largest one in Europe, and you'll find that there isn't much that you can do to match a journey or a ride like this. Anyway, see for yourself. Wow, what an amazing day it's been today, and we have seen some amazing sights today. Behind me we have Westminster, the seat of power. What a perfect place to finish, because when we think about it, we are empowered with the ability to travel to far off distant lands. But when we do this, we tend to forget and ignore exactly what we have on our very doorstep. So for that reason, I would encourage you to not just explore cities like London, but the whole of the UK before you think about jumping on the plane again. This is what Travel Buddies is all about, showing you what is here so you do not ever miss out. So we'll see you next time on Travel Buddies.
We're coming to the end of this amazing day that we've spent in Devon. Now, of course, we've crammed a lot into one day, but you can spread it out over a weekend. And you can bring all the family, the elderly, the young. There's something for everybody. And as we come to an end of this beautiful day, we're going to spend it watching the sunset in a very, very special place. Willow-Combe Beach, the #1 surf destination in the whole of the UK. I got my board. I don't think I need anything else.